Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your Week 14 NFL Fade the Public video. I'm going to tell you the most 7 public plays in the NFL for this Sunday and Monday. That's right, Sunday and Monday. In fact, I've got the Sunday night game and both Monday night games because we have 2 of them this week covered in this video. But let's first start with the most public plays on Sunday afternoon. And the most public play across the board, all the different metrics I look at this week, is the Detroit Lions at Chicago. I actually did a solo video earlier this week breaking this game down here on WagerTalk TV, and be sure to check out those solo videos for all the NFL games here in Week 14 from different cappers, including myself, Steve Merril. And I mentioned I thought the over had some value in this game, and the weather issues look less likely than they were earlier in the week. Look ahead line was 46.5. It was 41 when I did the video. Now, as a Friday afternoon, it's 43. So money has come in on the over. I agree with that move. But let's look at the point spread side here because the Lions are the most public side this week, Week 14. And they're currently a 3.5-point favorite in some spots, -3 in others. And it's such a critical number. We have to talk about that. If you're new to sports betting, you have to realize football is unlike any other sport. The way the scoring happens is not 1 and 2 points like in basketball. 3 and 7s are very common. And that also means 3 and 7 point margins of victory, the most common. So it's a huge difference laying 3 versus 3.5. If you like the Bears here, I would definitely hold out and find a +3.5 because Detroit is the most public play on Sunday afternoon. If you like the Lions, I'd grab that 3 -120 sooner than later. I expect the public to put this one over a field goal, 3.5 or higher by kickoff at 1 o'clock Eastern. Lions 9-3, Bears 4-8. So it's very obvious why the public is backing the Detroit Lions in this one. But Chicago has quietly been playing good football. You know, Justin Fields returned a few games ago after the injury, and he's actually been playing pretty solid. And overall, he has been improving this season. Bears, after that horrendous start, have quietly gone 2-1 straight up their last 3. And more importantly, they've covered every game with a push. In fact, this team is now 4-1-1 against the spread their last 6 games. But the public is fading with the Detroit Lions on Sunday afternoon. All right, let's look at another very public play on the Sunday daytime card. This one also goes at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. And we're going to talk about the Panthers and Saints. Not a surprise that the public is fading the Carolina Panthers once again, but not quite as public as it's been in weeks past. And that's because the Saints have been a public fade many times this season as well. In fact, Carolina covered last week. The public was wrong fading the Saints last week, or the Panthers last week, rather. And they did get the cover, the non-win, but cover. And it was only the second time all season the Panthers have covered a point spread in 12 games. But guess what? The public faded the Saints last week with success. They backed those Detroit Lions we just talked about. And New Orleans dropped their 4th straight against the spread. And the Saints on the season just 2-9-1 against the number. So both Carolina and New Orleans have only covered twice all year, but the public doesn't care. They love fading the Panthers. They made a ton of money doing it this season, and they're going to do it again this week. Could this be another cover for the Panthers, though? Hey, comment below. I read all the comments. I reply back. Let me know your thoughts on this game. And by the way, as of Friday afternoon, the injury report hasn't come out. The 4 o'clock Eastern report hasn't come out yet. I'm getting this video up a little earlier than normal for you because we don't have the college football top 25 video this week. So I wanted to get this up for you on Friday here on WagerTalk TV. But Derek Carr is still listed as questionable at quarterback. He left last week's game, that loss against the Lions. He left the game with a concussion. I think he might go this week. I expect him to go, but once again, we don't know for sure. If he doesn't start, by the way, looks like Jameis Winston, the veteran backup, will be the starter. Carr is a good quarterback, though. He's having a pretty good season. So it would be a little bit of a downgrade with Winston there. I think the odds are pretty much reflecting they think Carr is going to play, because New Orleans is currently a 5-point favorite across the board on Friday afternoon. And once again, as they've done every week and with pretty much success all season, the public is fading the Panthers once again. And for one of the few times this year, they're actually on the Saints -5. That kicks off also at 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, the third and final public play on the daytime card Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern is the Houston Texans. And they've been a public play a few times this season, and it really is ironic because the last few seasons, public has probably faded Houston more than any other team in the NFL, but that's not the case this year. They won their season finale last year and got bumped out of the #1 draft picks. Instead of getting Bryce Young, they end up with C.J. Stroud at number 2, and he is currently the NFL passing leader. In fact, preseason yardage odds had him at 80-1. Saw on Twitter somebody had a ticket for $150 that'll win $12,000 if he holds on to be the season passing yardage leader. And someone was saying, do you hedge it? It's an excellent question. Comment below. Do you think someone should hedge that ticket right now? If you got 80-1 odds on Stroud, will he end up being the season passing yardage leader? They're at Tennessee twice. They play Tennessee twice, Cleveland and Indianapolis. They have some winnable games, so maybe he doesn't get as many yards if they're winning. this week as well. But he's facing a really good Jets defense this week, so I personally would hedge that bet. I don't think Stroud's going to end up with the most passing yards this year. And the Jets defense has been fantastic this season. And considering how bad their offense is, they've been really good because they've been on the field a lot. They're giving up just 4.9 yards per play on the year. Texans giving up almost a yard per play more. Texans also giving up almost a yard and a half per pass more. Problem is the Jets are so bad offensively. You know, we saw the Patriots finally break out offensively on Thursday Night Football, get a rare cover and a rare over. Can the Jets do it now? New York Jets have scored 8 points or less in 2 of their last 3 games. They have scored 8 points or less in 3 of their last 5 games. And they have scored exactly 13 points or less now in 6 straight games. Oh, by the way, they're 0-5 straight up at ATS their last 5, and they haven't covered any of their last 6 games with a push going all the way back to that win but non-cover against the Giants. This is a New York Jet team on an 0-5 straight up in ATS slide. Offense is really struggling, but they are facing a weak Houston defense this week. And keep in mind, too, this is going to be a weather issue game. It'll be cold, maybe wet. Texans aren't exactly used to playing in bad conditions. Could that be the difference in this game? We'll find out. But once again, the public likes the Houston Texans, and I think it's more of a fade of the ice-cold New York Jets. Texans, by the way, currently a 3.5-point favorite. And one of the reasons fading the public does work long-term is because you get adjusted line value. This line probably is below a field goal if the Jets aren't on an 0-5 straight-up ATS run. Now it's 3.5. We talked earlier about what a key number 3 is. Both Detroit and the Houston Texans laying 3.5 in a lot of spots. That could be the difference in those games. By the way, there's about an 8 to 9% chance a road favorite in this price range wins by exactly 3. So this could be a case here where the adjusted line value squeaks the Jets in and gets them to cover. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this game. Another reason why fading the public does work better in December later in the season. That's been the case the last couple years in this video, as you know. Hey, by the way, we don't always fade the public. We use it as a filter, right? Games that sometimes qualify make my best bet card. Sometimes it keeps me off a game if I agree with the public side. It's just many of the barometers to use when handicapping the NFL each and every week. And don't forget, if you want my personal best bets, you can get them right now on my page, and you might want to pay attention. You know, last week I came on this video and told you the previous 2 Sundays we'd gone 7-1 in the NFL. Well, last Sunday I went 3-1, so we're now 10-2. 10-2 against the spread in the NFL the last 3 Sundays at WagerTalk.com. And you can't miss out, as this is a strong Sunday in pro football. But don't forget about college football. The Bowls start next week. Ton of games here in December. College and pro basketball on a daily basis. In fact, as I do this video on Friday afternoon, I'm a perfect 100% this week in college and pro hoops and on an 18-5 football and basketball run the last couple weeks. That's right, 18-5 all sports the past couple weeks at WagerTalk.com. And right now you can get the rest of 2023 for a special price, $199. The rest of the calendar year through December 31st for just $199. That gets all my NFL this week and the rest of the month, all those college December bowl games, and most importantly, my daily college and pro basketball best bets. And once again, all sports on an 18-5 run. Don't wait any longer. Get on board right now. And every day that you get on board is a day sooner you get the rest of the year. It's $199 flat rate through this weekend. So don't delay. Get on even sooner and start winning each and every day with my best bets. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. No promo code needed for that all sports special. And get to my page quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. All right, we're going to look at 2 more public plays on Sunday. And these are ding, 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 red flag alert. 2 public underdogs. You know I love to fade public dogs. And one of the reasons I like fading public dogs is because we get quality teams when we do it. You know, I mentioned the public's done pretty well overall this year, and that's because they faded the Patriots. They faded the Saints. They faded the Carolina Panthers. All those teams coming in this week and only covered twice all season. But when you're fading public dogs, you often get a quality team. So there's 2 of them I want to point out to you this week. And then I'm going to get you 2 additional public leans, by the way, in the Monday Night Football games in just a moment as well. Let's start with the late afternoon game at 4:25 Eastern. The public is on the Denver Broncos at LA. Broncos at Chargers, and the public is backing the Broncos. Currently, this line is 3 in some spots, but 2.5 in others. And once again, a textbook example of what I'm talking about. The theme of this video is how late in the season, in December, we normally get extra line value by fading the public. And we have 3 games now that we've talked to, the first 5, 3 of the first 4 rather, that are on that key number of 3. By the way, we're going to talk about another one in just a moment, your Sunday night game in just a moment, Eagles-Cowboys, that's on that key number as well. Let's see if it makes a difference. But the public likes the Broncos. They are +3 in some spots, 2.5 in others. So if you like the Broncos, I'd grab that +3 before it goes lower. If you like the Chargers, I would wait. Make sure you get a -2.5 before this game kicks off late Sunday afternoon at 4:25 Eastern. I think one of the reasons the public is fading the Chargers here is just due to the fact they looked so bad offensively last week against the Patriots. 6-0 win, the lowest NFL scoring game in over 5 years. But keep in mind, the Chargers had been a really bad defensive team this year, and they still shut out New England on the road. Chargers offense did struggle, yes, but the Patriots defense has actually been really strong this season. In fact, after that 6-0 loss last week, the Patriots were 0-4 straight up in ATS their previous 4 games before their Thursday night win against Pittsburgh. But they'd given up the fewest points in the NFL during that 4-game span. They'd allowed only 46 points, which is 11.5 points a game over those 4 losses. So I do think the Chargers bounce back this week against Denver. Broncos have been playing better defense here over the last month or so, but this is still a team that gave up 70 points at Miami back in September. Defensively, they've been much stronger here in recent weeks. So, in fact, their last 7 games, Broncos have held every one of their last 7 opponents to 22 points or less. So we'll see if the Chargers can get back on track. Chargers scored only 10 against Baltimore, only 6 against New England, but those are 2 of the best defensive teams in the league. Keep in mind, they put up 27 or more in 3 of their 4 prior games before that. So once again, public fading the Chargers, and they're on the Broncos. Denver Broncos, a public dog, currently +2.5 to +3 on Sunday afternoon. I gave you a little foreshadowing alert on the other game we're going to talk about, and that is your Sunday night game. Huge matchup in the NFC East between the Eagles and Cowboys. And as is often the case when you get 2 Class A teams playing, the public normally plays favorites, but in this case, they normally play underdogs, and that is the case as the public likes the Philadelphia Eagles plus the 3.5. Now, this line is currently 3.5 across the board on Friday afternoon, but I do see some +3.5s, -15, -20. So I do think there's a chance by Sunday night you could see some +3s. So once again, if you like the Eagles, I would play this sooner than later, lock up the +3.5. If you like the Cowboys, I would wait, see if maybe you can get at -3, because this is the Sunday night game at 8:20 Eastern, and it'll be the most heavily bet game of this week in the NFL, one of the biggest bet games of the year, most likely, and the public is on the Eagles. So I think they could possibly push this down to that key number of -3 by kickoff. And once again, that's at 8:20 Eastern on NBC. The question for me in this game is which team steps up against a Class A opponent? Philly was exposed last week. And by the way, the public was on the Eagles as a home dog last week, if you recall. I did fade the public for my clients at WagerTalk. Part of that 3-1 NFL Sunday, part of that 10-2 last 3 Sundays combined was fading the Eagles last week with the 49ers. Easy blowout best bet winner on San Francisco. And you do wonder about the class step up here. Philadelphia was 10-1 last week, heading into that game, but they were a home dog for a reason. They'd overcome multiple double-digit deficits several weeks in a row, kind of playing on borrowed time. Cowboys have looked a lot better since their loss at Philly back at the beginning of November, going 4-0 straight up. But the next 3 wins after that loss came against the Giants, Panthers, and not my Washington Commanders, who are on a bye this week. Boy, can they get things right. We'll talk about them next week probably here on the video. But even the Seattle Seahawks last Thursday night, a narrow win, but non-covering. It's a mediocre team. Cowboys, of course, lost to Philly, as I mentioned earlier this year, and they got blown out at San Francisco, just like the Eagles got blown out by San Francisco last week. These are really 2 teams that haven't stepped up. Philly does have the win at Kansas City and the win against Buffalo. I'll bet both of those will come from behind victories. So you could make an argument Philly's been a little better this season when stepping up in class. And as far as that loss earlier this month, or last month, rather, a month ago, November 5th, a pretty clean game overall. Dallas had 1 turnover. Philly had none. That was pretty much the difference. Philly had the rushing edge by about 35 yards, but Dallas had a substantial passing edge, 150 passing edge in that game. So we'll see how this one plays out on Sunday Night Football. But once again, if you're looking at this one, I'd play Philly early. I'd wait, and I'd play Dallas later, though, as public could very well push this one down to below 3.5, down to that -3. And once again, this is going to be one of the most public underdogs this week. Broncos and Eagles, by far the 2 most public dogs in Week 14 NFL action. Should be a great game to watch, and obviously huge home field implications, playoff implications as well for the NFC on Sunday night. All right, there are 2 Monday Night Football games. That's right, 2 this week. I'm going to get to both of those for you in just a moment, but a quick reminder, now is the time to get on board my All Sports All Access. I'm on an 18-5, 78% football and basketball run the past couple weeks. And we have just been crushing on NFL Sundays, 10-2 the last 3 Sundays in the NFL. So don't miss my powerful lineup this Sunday, NFL Best Bets, along with daily free plays on my page. But if you're serious about winning, you should play consistently every day, not just football, but basketball as well. Number 1 this year in the NBA. I'm up over 130 units this calendar year in the NBA. Number one rank in college hoops a couple years ago, off to a great start this year in college hoops. Number one the past 2 years combined in college and pro football sides at WagerTalk. Why not finish 2023 right? No promo code needed. For just over $8 a day, get every football and basketball playoff release for the rest of this year. Just over $8 a day for the rest of this year. Right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. All right, let's finish it off with the 2 Monday night games. And that's right, for the first time in NFL history, we have 2 Monday night games kicking off at the same time on different networks. This has never happened before. I know they always play 2 games now in week 1, stagger the start times, but these are both at 8:15 Eastern, the normal start time. We got the Dolphin game, I believe, on ESPN. The other game, Packers-Giants, is on ABC, the sister network. Comment below. What do you think about this? I think it's a great idea. Why have 7 games at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday? We could have 2 of them on Monday night, and that is the reason they're doing this. It's part of the new TV agreement this year. They want to try to bring the Sunday afternoon to the primetime Monday night market, and I think it makes a lot of sense. By the way, I did a solo video for the Dolphins-Titans game earlier this week here on WagerTalk TV, so go back and watch that for a deep dive into that game. But the public, as expected, as I mentioned in that video earlier on Tuesday this week, is on the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins will be an additional lean. By the way, these are both leans. The 5 most public plays are the ones I gave you for Sunday. These are additional leans, games that were just a bit outside for making the cut, but the public is leaning towards the Dolphins. Not a surprise, as Miami has just crushed bad teams this season. And Ralph Michaels and I were on Wager Talk today with Teddy Covers Thursday, and Ralph had a nice chart about teams against winning teams, against losing teams. And the one that jumps out to you, of course, is the Dolphins this year. Perfect 7-0 against the spread when facing losing opponents. Titans, meanwhile, I believe either 0-4 or 1-4 against the spread when facing winning teams. So really only one way to play this. Hard for me to disagree with the public on the Dolphins. They've blown out bad teams this year. In Tennessee, Will Levis, very mediocre at quarterback. Not sure they can catch up once they get behind. And we talk about backdoor cover, but we also don't always talk about front door cover. The Dolphins, with the most explosive offense in the NFL, have what we call front door cover, which means they're able to extend the margin and win going away. Dolphins would be the way I play Monday night. I do not disagree with the public in this one on Monday. And the other game is at 8:15 Eastern, and that's that Giants-Packer game I referenced. And the public is leaning towards the Packers in this one. Once again, not an official play, but an additional lean on the Green Bay Packers. And isn't that ironic? Packers were faded quite often this season, numerous times by the public at different points this season, but now they're starting to turn things around. Public was leaning towards Kansas City last week, and Green Bay, of course, pulls that upset, and now they're a public play as a road favorite. It just shows how the public can switch allegiances and alliances very quickly when a team is playing well, and the Packers are playing well right now. They've won 3 in a row straight up against the spread. They've covered 4 of their last 5. And it's because Jordan Love is playing well at quarterback. This guy has a 108 quarterback rating or higher now in 4 of those last 5 games, which coincide with all 4 wins and covers. The only loss was against a good Steelers defense. That was his only subpar outing back on November 12th. But let's talk about Tommy. Don't call me Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito, third-string quarterback for the Giants, has been playing fantastic the last couple of weeks. Keep in mind, he had a 104 rating against that strong Patriot defense back on November 26th, and the Giants had a bye week last week, which should give them extra time to prep for this game. And, of course, DeVito had a fantastic 138 rating against not my Washington Commanders, but then again, that's the worst defense in the NFL right now. But the fact that DeVito backed it up with a decent showing against the Patriots strong D, could that be the buy sign for DeVito? They're coming off a bye week. Public doesn't think so, though. They're leaning towards the Packers minus the 6.5 on Monday Night Football. And by the way, I do see some 7s starting to pop in a few locations. So once again, if you like Green Bay, I'd play it sooner than later. Lay the minus 6.5. If you like the Giants, I would wait. You might find some plus 7s by kickoff on Monday night. And by the way, the Dolphins game earlier, minus 13 in most spots, some 13.5 starting to show. Probably want to play minus 13 sooner than later. I think that line probably goes higher as well on Monday. All right, those are your 5 most public favorites, your 2 most public underdogs, covering both Sunday and Monday action in the NFL. Hope you found it useful. If you did, do me a couple quick favors on the way out here. Thumbs up, like, goes a long way to keeping all the content free here on Wager Talk TV. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts when my videos go up each and every week here on the channel. And comment below. I read all the comments and reply back. Let me know who you like this week 14, where you agree or disagree with the public. Throw in some player props, some 6-point teasers as well. Let's win together here on Wager Talk TV. And if you want my personal best bets, same NFL best bets this Sunday. They've gone 10-2 the last 3 Sundays in the NFL. I love this card as well for Sunday. It's a powerful NFL lineup. Once again, if you want my #1 ranked basketball, don't miss out. Get the rest of December, the rest of 2023 for just $199. No promo code needed. It works out to just over $8 a day for every football, basketball, college, and pro selection I release for the rest of this year. Check it out on my page along with daily free plays. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. Follow me on Twitter as well for free plays and videos every day at Steve Merril. 2 R's, 1 L on Twitter at Steve Merril. I also post free plays throughout the week on Instagram. Yeah, that's right. I'm on IG. Who knew? Follow me there along with Wager Talk. And don't forget to check out Wager Talk TV for great content each and every day of the week here on the channel. Thanks for watching. Best of luck this Sunday, and I'll talk to you again soon.